Live and unscripted from the DC metro area, this is a story of surviving and thriving after a layoff. This outdoor podcast is brought to you by atopcareer.com. Episode 7. A Success Story. 2 weeks post-layoff, Edythe is starting to feel more stable emotionally. She uses this episode to talk about the client who inspired her the most, and she's also going to honour some of the people she's worked with over the years.
It's been a little over 2 weeks now since my layoff, and I feel like my emotions are finally starting to stabilize. I still have waves of sadness, grief, loss coming every now and then, but I'm starting to move towards acceptance, which I'm so thankful for. What I want to talk about today, which I think is really appropriate, is to honor some of the people who I've worked with over the years. And recently, I've had a few clients who I've helped on their career journeys who I think were cast aside by other people and, for whatever reason, didn't get help from others. And recently, both of these people have expressed to me that it was my ability to listen without judgment and just be there for them and provide that genuine care and concern that has helped them more than anything. And just knowing that somebody truly cared about them and cared about their progress and was willing to help them, that apparently meant a lot. And I've heard this a lot over the years from different people, and it always surprises me a little bit because it's a skill that comes so naturally to me. I still can't fathom why other people don't take the time to do this, because it seems like such an easy, simple thing to do, and it makes so much of a difference. Everybody deserves to be treated with the same amount of respect, regardless of their position in life. No matter what, that's absolutely something I'm going to carry forward till my very last day, is treating everybody as they deserve to be treated. There's one person who I'd like to talk about today who had such a huge impact on my life, and she has absolutely no idea about this. I remember when I first met her, I would say nearly 7 years ago now. She came into my office like a lot of students do who are not sure of what to pick as a major or a program of study. And she was 19 at the time. She was blonde, very perky. In my mind, I was kind of calling her the cheerleader. It's clear she's from a upper middle class family. And, hadn't had a life of hardship or anything. At least that was how it was on the surface. And to me seemed really immature for her age. And I wasn't quite sure how to work with her. But I went through my, series of questions and comments like I do with anybody, and left giving her some homework assignments to do that were geared around her thinking about different things to help clarify and things like that, and scheduled another follow-up appointment with her, I think for like a week later or so. And I wasn't sure if she was going to come back, but she did. And it soon became clear to me that there were a lot of other things going on besides her confusion about choosing a major and about her career path. I don't think she wasn't an academic type of girl, and I was in my mind questioning her ability to even be in college. Was she somebody who was even going to finish a 2-year degree? Did she have the ability to put forth the effort that was needed for college classes, and did she even see the point to it? She was young for her age emotionally, and I just didn't think that she was ready to take a lot of the psychometric assessments that we career counselors tend to recommend as part of this process. So my approach started to be to work with her on more academic things like studying and time management and stress management and things like that, sticking to a schedule. It was really huge for her. And nobody had ever sat down to do these things with her before. And every week, I questioned. I'm like, what am I doing here? Am I doing the right thing? And I've never really taught anybody how to study before. I'm not even sure I was even taught that. And I remember being really frustrated with her for not sticking to her schedule. A lot of people that age, partying with friends and that kind of thing took precedence over studying and preparing for tests and writing papers. And, and I looked at her writing style. This is really not the writing style of a college student. So trying to help her with things like that, I kind of let my frustration out a few times. And I kept thinking, I'm like, she's never going to come back. She's never going to come back. And after she left, I felt guilty. And I mean, she was there every week. Every week she would come. And I don't think I've ever worked with somebody so consistently for so long. And it was months and months and months. And she became comfortable with me and started revealing other things, personal things that were really impacting her success with school. And, we each started to form a bond with each other. And slowly she started getting herself together, started doing better and better. And then one day she came in and told me that she'd gotten an A in her biology class. And biology, of all things, was a really hard subject. And some of the study techniques that we were working on, it finally worked for her. I couldn't have been more proud of her. And I could see with that, she was slowly gaining confidence in herself. But, there was still a long way to go. She also eventually decided that she did want to get a bachelor's degree. She wanted to move on to university after she got her associate's degree. And she decided she wanted to study psychology. And so I was still very skeptical in my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, she doesn't have a history of success with college. Her GPA is not that good. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get in. And these kinds of things. And she thinks she applied for 3 or 4 different schools, and she got into every one of them. She totally proved me wrong. And, once she got in and she started taking classes, every once in a while, I think I'd hear from her from time to time, and I still had it in my mind that, she might not graduate. I mean, she's partying too much, all this kind of stuff. And she did graduate. And last I heard from her, she had gotten a pretty good job. And I think this was about a year ago. She got a pretty good job, and she was talking about going to graduate school, of all things. And I think the reason that she was such a big impact on me is she did prove me wrong, first of all. Never underestimate people. Never underestimate them. She made it. She made it eventually. I always tried to instill the importance in her of, her parents were paying for education. I didn't want her to drop out and regret it, And I think she finally got that message. And I'm so thankful for that. At one point, she sent me a message that first day that she had come to see me, she had also been passed over by other counselors who couldn't or wouldn't take the time to meet with her and show her that amount of respect that everybody deserves. And reading that message was very hard for me to read, because it made me think that if I had just not taken a few minutes out of my day to first respond to her request and then to sit down and talk with her, I don't really think she would be where she is today. And I have no doubt that she is going to take her whole academic experience and do really good things for other people too. It's just a shame that in our world, because we're so busy, because we're so focused on whatever it is, money, power, prestige, all of these things, that ultimately, at the end of the day, does it really even matter? This girl, I don't know if she'll ever hear this. If she hears this, she's going to be very surprised by this impact that she had, and not for the reasons that she thinks. But I'm always going to remember her for teaching me the importance of respect and meeting somebody where they are, not judging them, and believing in them. And it's thanks to her that I do that for everybody else I come across.
Find Edythe online at www.topcareer.com. Thanks for listening.